666, the number of the beast. Apparently, I've actually heard it isn't the number of the beast, but who knows. So I'm actually going to be reviewing a movie called At the Devil's Door. I'm not going to be talking about Iron Maiden songs anymore in this review, I'm afraid. So this is a 2014 movie. And as you probably guessed, this is basically a kind of demon possession / Birth of the Antichrist movie. And it's a fairly sort of slick production here. It kind of looks like it's got a reasonable budget behind it, because it does have that kind of like polished feel to it. Basically, the story here is, it follows a number of characters actually, but basically the crux of this story is that the devil wants to kind of have his offspring out in the world essentially, and he initially sort of tries to kind of get this kind of girl to tricks her into sort of selling her soul so she can kind of give birth, but their plans go slightly awry, and he basically has to kind of the devil has to kind of make other plans, so we say, and it really focuses on two sisters, one of which is played by a girl from Glee, and I guess she's kind of the main character here. One of the sisters is kind of like a estate agent, I don't know what you call them in America, but basically she's selling property and things like that. And apparently one of these properties has a bit of history with this kind of this girl basically, and God, it's hard to talk too much about this movie without giving the plot away. Basically, these two sort of sisters are embroiled in this plot as the devil is trying to give birth to itself or its offspring, and that's kind of all I can really say about the plot without really kind of giving too much away, I'm afraid. So okay, let's talk about the good things first of all. This movie has some genuinely creepy moments, and it has some really nice sort of shots here and there, some nice scenes that are kind of quite sort of disturbing and do kind of creep you up. It's got a great creepy atmosphere, this film, and there's quite a lot of jump scares in here. So if you kind of like your jump scares, you're gonna get scared here, or if you're not a fan of them, then this may not be the film for you. But there are quite a few jump scares, but also it's not only that. Like I said, it does have this sort of great through line, this great kind of atmosphere, this sort of sinister feel to it basically as the kind of the story sort of progresses. I have to say this, the movie starts out pretty strong. I gotta be honest, I think it kind of loses its way as the sort of film progresses, throughout the movie basically. And I think part of the problem with it is that we're introduced to too many characters. There's too many sort of cooks in the kitchen basically, and a lot of these characters are just young girls with sort of brunette hair who, if you're not really paying attention, you can think, who's this one? Who's that one? So it can be a little bit confusing. Unless you're a big fan of these particular actresses, I was kind of like, is that one, or is it's kind of got a little bit confused as to who they are, unfortunately, and what actually role they're playing. There's a little bit too much in the way of I guess a convoluted plot, I suppose you would call it. But basically, the movie does, as the film progresses, it does kind of go through a little bit of exposition a couple of times in the movie to sort of try and sort of catch you up. So if you're not really paying too much attention, it will kind of explain it, I guess, but you could argue spoon feed you what's going on. But I think it probably kind of makes sense at the end of the film. I have to say though, the middle section of this film for me was just the main issue I have there, because I just think it comes as I said, a little bit confused, and it seems kind of directionless. It doesn't really sort of go any particular anywhere until you get to the end of the film. Now, at the end of the film here, I read online people's opinions on it, and it's kind of split. A lot of people don't like the ending. I don't really have a problem with it. I don't think it's an ending that kind of leaves you hanging so much. But I kind of didn't have an issue with the ending, but some people do. But it's the main strength here is its production value and its sort of sense of scare. So if you can kind of look past some of maybe the characterization of these people aren't particularly well developed, because I found it trouble, deciding who is who and kind of like, who is this person again? What's their motivation? So the characterization for me was kind of lacking, and I think maybe the script could have done with a little bit of sort of untying certain things and being a bit of a sleeker script. But if you can kind of look past those issues, I actually felt this was quite a decent horror film with some decent scares in it. So that's, I think, what you can take away from it, is that this does a good job of kind of giving you the creeps, although I don't think it's the best scripted movie ever, shall we say. But it's an enjoyable film. Like I said, the production values are pretty good. There's some reasonable effects here, and there are some genuinely disturbing imagery here, which I actually found quite fun. But I think there's better stories out there. So overall, I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it for what it was, although I felt it could have been a lot better here. Acting-wise, the main sort of character, I should say, a girl from Glee. I don't know the actress's name, unfortunately, escapes me at this time. But basically, she's kind of the main character. I didn't think her sister was a particularly great actor, to be honest. So the acting for the most part was okay, but a little bit choppy here and there. So 6 out of 10 for me. What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to the next time. Bye for now.